What's going on, everybody? It is Luke today, and we're going to be talking about Profit Protector Pro. Now, I've done a video like this before, but actually looking back, it was about a year ago. So I'm just going to go back over it because as anything, everything needs to be updated, everything improves, changes, and those kind of videos on YouTube can get lost, and it's very easy to think that a video hasn't been done. So let's start with this, a brand new video. We're going to start as if you're a complete beginner, never come across Profit Protector before, and I'm going to go over the reasons that I use it, why I love it, and why you should be using it yourself. So let's get started. So, as you can see here, Profit Protector Pro is actually a repricing tool. So on Amazon, you obviously sell products and you want to make sure you're in the buy box and make some sales. That's the obvious thing that you need to do to then generate profit and so on and so on. And you can, of course, go and use manual repricing. But the problem with that is that manual repricing is slow. So what will happen is that you'll set the price that you want, because as of today, the buy box is $9.99, so you'll set the price at $9.99. The issue is that maybe in 3 hours, or tomorrow, or a week, the price changes, and you'll fall out of the buy box. It will either go down in price, and you will be above the buy box, or it'll actually potentially want to go up in price, but you're always selling at $9.99. So there's two, depending on the direction, you're going to either lose out on potential profits, or you're going to be out of the buy box and not making sales. So there's, two really major problems with not using some sort of automated repricing software. Okay? And the great thing about it is it's not even that expensive. If it was hundreds of pounds, of course, you've got to factor that in, but it's not. And it is a great piece of software because I actually used to use another repricing tool, and I transitioned to this, and ever since then, it's, from like the first couple of days, instantly I noticed products that weren't selling, or were selling slower, or were selling a lot faster, and it was great. So I'm going to go over some examples, I'm going to show you how it works, and some of the little bits and pieces that are inside the software that will actually help you maximize your returns on Amazon. So, as you can see here, Profit Protector Pro, if you want to jump over to the website, it is literally profitprotectorpro.com, and it has tons of information just to give you an insight into exactly what's going on, so you've got the full picture before you even make a purchase. And I'll jump into my own account and some of the sections in it as well in a second. So as you can see here, on the first page, it basically just goes through every single piece of information that you could ever want, exactly what it looks like. Information overload is kind of what you're going to get there. So I won't go over all that till about 16 hours, but what I will do is jump over to my account and show you some examples. So as you can see here, these are really old products, so that's why I'm showing you them. I've basically gone to my oldest stock, found items I hadn't sold in God knows how long. And this is the sort of interface look that you'll get when you actually sign up and your products sync with Amazon's and your Amazon account to here. So what you'll see is each of your products will have like the SKU, the ASIN, and your stock level. So what will usually happen is this stock level obviously won't show up as having any products in stock until it actually books in with Amazon. You can put your buy price so that you've got a little indicator to help you. Of course, you can put notes and then star as favorites that say that you really want to be on top of that product because it's a fast seller, it's high profit, or whatever. You can do that, and just so that you don't get products don't get lost, in the sort of system when you start really building up your inventory lines and your SKUs or your ASINs. So I'm going to be using the Worders as an example. So as you can see here, it will basically pop up all the different countries that it's currently resides in, basically. Like you can see here, there's the Ritz crackers. There's actually 3 more. With here, it's only in the UK and France. I'll be talking as if it's just the UK for now, because you can go ahead and see if they're either profitable or even selling in those countries as and when you decide to do that. So, as you can see here, it's very, very simple. So the extent of it is that you don't even need to put in your break-even price if you don't want to. More the merrier, or less the merrier. Maybe not that, but yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. All you really need to do is put your min and max in. So obviously you might be like, where do I get that from? Okay, great. So if you jump over to the actual product, when you're, say, doing your product research, let's say, and you're trying to find out, is it profitable, what's going on, and you're like, yeah, that's a great product actually, I'd like that one. So what you can do, obviously, you can go ahead in here and you can start generating the price and figuring out if it's profitable. So let's just make up some figures for a second. I don't know if selling it at £3.29 is ever going to come out okay. Let's just pretend it's £6 for this example. This product's not profitable anymore, I don't think. But anyway, as this fake example, but yeah, you can see. So you'll be like, you know what, I really like that product. But what's my break even? And that, what's the break even price that I'm going to have to sell it for, and all that kind of thing. And obviously, it gives you that down here in BuyBot Pro. Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. But I'm sure you're familiar with how this software works and how you would find out if a product's profitable or not, and then what your break even is, and what your minimum return and all that kind of thing. That's normally the basics that you would work out before you buy a product. So let's say you decided, yeah, I like that product, great. They also have Profit Protector Pro, so you have that as well. So what you can do is you can, in some instances, if you want, you can just wait until the product booking, jump over to here, and then, go back to your purchase, go to your purchase log. What's going on here? Go to your purchase log, find out the product price and work it out. Again, you could, and then you could come in and do it that way. There's no perfect way. Or if you really wanted to increase the speed of it because you're trying to cut down on time, so obviously time intensive tasks you want to reduce as you progress through your Amazon journey, because in a way, if you do 8 hours a day, and you can turn that into 4 hours a day by tweaking things you do. 4 hours has a value in terms of money, because you can then focus those 4 hours on something else which can generate money, kind of thing. Simple service. So what you could do down here, if you keep going to the bottom, because obviously BuyBot Pro and Profit Protector Pro are both within the same business entity, they're owned by the same people, they have interfaces which basically work together. So as you can see here, you can actually see there's some sort of Profit Protector Pro sort of interface in BuyBot Pro. Yeah? And you have to scroll down to the bottom to find it. And then there is also going to be one for Dodled, which is after sort of like an analytical side of things for your sales. So what you can do is, if you want to then go ahead here, as you can see what I mentioned Dodled there, you can go ahead and put your email and key, and then you can generate you can input your profit, your minimum and maximum, like I was mentioning over here, before it actually gets to Amazon. So you can basically be proactive, and as the product book into Amazon, you're able to start the repricing going. So as soon as it syncs to say, yep, you've got stock. So as soon as Amazon and Profit Protector Pro sort of sync together to say, yep, the stock's arrived, and you've got 10, 20, 100, whatever it is, it will instantly register. So as soon as you see, obviously here it's 0, but you would know. But if you're doing it manually, what you would do is you would go, oh, I wonder if that's booked in. Look at your emails. Oh yeah, some random box booked in yesterday, or like last night, or I don't know, middle of the night. And you'll go on, and you'll be like, oh, that's manually change it. Okay, well, okay, cool. It takes a little bit more time potentially, because you could have done it straight after your deal analysis. You could have input it here. Take 10 seconds, because you would have already realised what your minimum that you want to sell it for, what the current buy, you would have already had, you'd be fresh with that data. Obviously, when you actually buy the product, send it into Amazon, and it has to have booking, you're like, okay, well, what do I need to sell it for again? I kind of forgot. So on here, obviously, it would book in, and it would automatically start repricing your product. So that means you're basically getting your sale in as early into that market as you can. What I mean by that is that if you are putting that product in and you're not going to hit the buy box straight away, because you've got to go in and actually change, you've got to be proactive in changing your price. So it's now competitive. That could be 12 hours later. It could be 1 hour later. It could be 1 minute later. Even 1 minute later in a year could be £100 lost profit, because you could have got that sale a minute earlier, or I don't know, 50 seconds earlier potentially. So the faster you can get your repricing products in the system, what I mean by that is that in the Amazon cog, buy box cog, where it's rotating, the algorithm is rotating you, the faster you can do that, the faster you get the sale, the faster you then get your money back, the faster you get the profit back, the faster you can buy another product. If that was happening across 1 million products, and you could get all your money back a day earlier, then what happens? Well, in 10 years, you may be up £50,000 more profit because that one day there, and that one day there, and that one day there over 10 years is 6 to 8 months of, your sales come cumulatively 6 months faster in a 10-year lifespan, 10-year span. That's just a generic example. Meaning you're getting 6 months for free, 6 months profit, extra generated income over that time. And of course, if on the small scale, you may not be thinking about that, but you need to think on the larger scale. A business mindset is what you need. And so by implementing this tiny little thing here, you're able to actually, in a year, and definitely over Q4, which is coming up, this video is currently getting done in the middle of August 2020, keeping it 2021. Next month, September. It's not too, October is then this Q4. Let's go. And definitely over that time, because if you miss out on the buy box for like 15 minutes, just once a day, the amount of sales that you'll be losing over that month are going to be stupidly high. If you reprice a bit too late, or whatever happens, then you could have missed the buy box 4 times. You could have been given it 4 times in that 12-hour period every couple of hours, but you didn't because you were way too high in your price. Your price was £3 higher than what it should be. But if you're able to get in the market ASAP, you're able to make those sales earlier, and then the compound effect's going to be crazy. Okay? And all you've got to do is put your minimum and your maximum. Obviously, maximum is the reason you put your minimum is obviously it doesn't go lower. Very easy. The maximum, though, is that every night there's a setting in options, and you can reset the price. I normally set it. If you go to options, it will literally say reset your price every night or every day to the max. And I would always do that. And now the reason I always do that is because if you reset your price to the max, now it may not be that you have, your minimum could be like $4.99 because you worked out that's your 30% ROI and that's what you're comfortable with. Your maximum may be $6.99. Yeah, I never put my maximum too high because if it's too high, it's going to be way out of the buy box. And it is possible that Amazon will still give you the buy box at $6.99, but just far less percentage. So you may get that percentage like 2% of the day, and maybe not 8% of the day sharing it with everyone else at that price, but you'll still get some sales. But if you're at $12.99 or something, you're probably never going to get any. So I basically am just trying to be close so that again the repricer doesn't take too long to get you back to that buy box. But the reason that you do raise it to $6.99 is that if other people also do the same, that product first thing in the morning may actually be at a higher price. And as the day goes on, everyone's now repricing. And so if you can get some sales early on in the day, you're probably selling it for a higher price. And as the day goes through, that market for a 24-hour period, as in that product, if you pretend that product is its own market, that market for Werther's is going to mature, meaning the buy box price will mature to its sort of market rate, which is going to be the standard $4.99 if that's what it normally sells for. But at any one time, if you can get an early, if someone buys it at 4 a.m. when you've just repriced it to $6.99, and so is the other guy, well, there's only 2 of you on the listing, you've both gone, it's going to start selling at $6.99 really early in the morning. And over the day, it may chop and change between you two because you're competing, and it may go down to the $4.99. But on an average, looking at a monthly average, your monthly average may be $5.99. So what's happening is if you do a manual repricing, you're probably never going to get that because you're always having to, you're being reactive rather than proactive. So the reactive is already like gone to that price, $4.99, and now you're having to like, crap, let's go, come on, I've got to go back to that price because I'm out of the buy box or whatever. This does it all for you. So not only is it getting you the buy box faster and basically just as quick as it physically not human. That's not even correct. As fast as its computer, that's not even a word. Okay, basically as fast as computer can do it, humans are slower. The better, and you can sell it for a higher price by implementing that small little strategy, and that is all it is. There's no more complexity to it. To do with like getting a higher price, and what that does over a month potentially is pay for the subscription of Profit Protector Pro. Not only pay, because if you start selling more than 10, 15, 20, I have hundreds of SKUs. I think it said in here, as you can see, my 30-day PPP Profit Protector Pro boost is 305 quid. So that means I have been boosted in sales because of the repricing strategies it's been implementing, £305 extra than if it was a manual. So not only am I offsetting the cost of the software, but I'm also making profit by paying. So I'm making money by paying money. It's like a win-win in a way. Of course, there's going to be someone that loses that, and that's ultimately Amazon or the customer. But if you're doing Amazon, selling out on Amazon and buying and reselling, all that kind of thing, that you already know that a customer can go somewhere else and buy it cheaper, ultimately. So we don't really, we're going to ignore that for now. And of course, once you actually do your min-max, you want to set the type of repricing strategy. Now, there's a lot there, and it might be confusing, like which one's the best. Just keep it simple, I always say. Now, I mostly use the balanced sales accumulator, but we're going to jump over to here, which is the different versions and what they do. I'm only going to go over the first three, which is the aggressive sales generator, balanced sales accumulator, which is what I use mostly, and the cautious one. The rest you can go over yourself, because I haven't actually really looked into it. Because I like to keep my business quite simple. I don't like to, tweak little icings here and there, maximize it. I do personal tweaking, like I do it off my own back. I don't use software for it. I look into the data and sort of work out my own little strategies, but I don't, like over more of a generic basis as a business whole, I like to keep it simple. So, the three that you should be mainly using, as you can see here, the top three here are there. Yeah? Aggressive, balanced, and cautious. And again, you can see. So what you want to do is you can basically just use this little table or graph or whatever this picture as your overall understanding of what this strategy means. So what I would use this for ultimately is if you have a product that you can keep getting your hands on and it sells thousands a month. I sell products that sell thousands a month, 4,000 a month anyway. But you want to be making sure that you can maximize the amount of sales you get, because you're ultimately looking to do volume. The profit may not be great, but you can but it doesn't matter if you can sell 1 million of them. Because that will still generate, 10 grand. If you're doing 1 million of them and you're going to make 10 grand profit, it's not a great return, but for you, of course, 10 grand is 10 grand. That's a lot for one person in 1 month. So what I would use this for is if I had a product that I wanted to pretty much be aggressively in the buy box for, and I could keep buying it. So if I sold out all my products today, I can go back tonight and buy another 1,000, and they could be low price, so you could have enough capital, there's no perfect, some people won't be able to afford that, some people will. It just depends on where you are in your Amazon business. But let's say you do come across a product like this and you want to, make sure that you're in the buy box. You don't want to be out of the buy box for too long, because you might lose out. You might be able to make 100 sales at like 50p or at £1. Well, that's still good for a day. It's 100 quid a day or £50 a day just on one ASIN. But if you happen not to be aggressive enough because everyone else is being aggressive, doing a similar strategy to you, then you've just lost out 50 quid, because you can go and buy it and you can replenish or buy those products again tonight. So there's no you basically just lost out on what you did. So this would be more aggressive, meaning you're pretty much, whenever it moves to the lowest price that you're willing to do, of course, like I said, it won't go below the minimum anyway. But let's say your minimum is like 10% ROI, it's a quid, £1. Because you're like, I can sell 1,000 in a week or whatever. Then you want to maybe do the aggressive, because the balance will try to keep it at the current price, and it may not be as aggressive. It's very, it's kind of like quite obvious, the strategies. And you can see here, it maximizes sales, but the profits are low. Volume, meaning it focuses on volume, but the profit per unit will be lower. I normally do the balance. The reason I do the balance is because a lot of my products will be products I can get again, maybe not forever, maybe not like continuously every day, I cannot buy them, but I've got to a point where I have enough stock where I offset the variability in the deal flow. So I know products will come and go on deals, but I offset that by buying enough to cover the gaps where I can't buy the products. Ultimately, just buy lots of it, so that I don't have to worry about when next deal is coming. Which is, that won't be available for everyone. But that's the strategy that I do. So I take a little bit more profit. I'd rather not go down as low as whatever. But I'm also focusing on the sales because I can buy them again, but maybe not as frequent as an item above here, I can keep going back and back and back, buying unlimited or something. And again, cautious would be, let's say you found some sort of Lego box that is pretty amazing, and it's, it might be Christmas time coming up, because it is, or it is, I guess it will always be Christmas coming at some point anyway, even if this is 5 years old. What you can do is, if you know that, well, it's probably not very likely that I'm going to get this product again, maybe I will, maybe I won't, flip a coin and see, like a lot of those kind of products that come out on offer, for Lego, definitely for Lego, they're discontinued after a while, even this year's, that's the line. So it focuses on more trying to keep your price higher to get more profit, because you can't go and replenish the products. Yeah, and I would say focus on those 3 strategies. You can go ahead and tweak things if that's the kind of person you are. You can definitely go ahead and tweak them, and you can just go in. There's so many different strategies. I'll let you go into them as and when you want. But for me, those are the 3 strategies I focus on. Aggressive will be, it could be, I could focus on more aggressive stuff over Q4 because I do more volume. But I'd say 99% of the time, definitely in a general year, I will focus on balance. Okay. And just to go on to the last section, there is a, I'm not going to take this, but you can see there's different sections up here to help you. If you go to analysis, like I said a second ago, you can see here what the sort of like a little bit of a dashboard style to see what's going on with your account. So you can see that I've had that all-time MAP, my SKUs roughly are at repricing, and I would say that, I know it says here repricing I need to do my min and max on 285, but it's because I don't sell in Europe at the moment, so it's saying that I haven't got any repricing strategies on Europe, which I haven't. So that's why you might look at some of these and go, oh, that's unusual. But you can just get a little bit of an overview of what's going on here. This thing is sales, I guess. But I don't use it for this. But you can. You might be a bit of a data geek or a data nerd sometimes, and I am at times. Definitely specifically over like Q4 and specific. Keep saying that, but specific times, and then more use of that word today. But if you want to do it, you can look at this. It gives you some, even just some of these little indicators. This can take you 2 seconds, click on analysis, and it'll be great. And for me, it's a perfect piece of software just to leave. It basically is automation. That's what you want. That's what you want to do with your Amazon business at some point. And if the cost of entry is low, which it is. I mean, most people will be subscribing to the 1,000. I subscribe to this one, but if you're obviously a larger seller, but the cost here just showing you that products can go up and then you can sell them at a higher price. If you were making £1, you only have to be like on 20 making an extra quid on 20 items a month, and you pay for the software yourself. And I'll leave a link in the description to the affiliate link if you want to use it. You don't have to. There's no cost to you or extra cost to you or anything. But if you want to help support the channel, you can. And you can get a 14-day money-back guarantee if you're not happy with it. Yeah. But for me, I've used not every single repricer out there, because I'm sure there is plenty. But I've used, some of the sort of main ones that are around for Amazon, definitely in the UK. And to me, this is just so much better. Not only does it have little tweaks, little extras on that kind of thing, where you can sort of get in the market a little bit earlier, but it also it's also faster the way I see it. So I used to use BQL, and it used to be so slow in actually reacting to price changes on the listing. So if the price moved down, it took 3 hours, 4 hours. It would take ages for it to actually react and bring me down to that price. Which again, it's the same thing I was mentioning. You're losing out on the buy box, you're losing out on sales. And this was more reactive. This is more proactive than reactive. And that's why, again, I stick with this. A lot of the videos that I don't do videos on things I have never used and don't like, all that kind of thing. So I wouldn't do a video otherwise. And I've just given you a complete lowdown of basically how I use it in my business and why I use it in my business. And if that's not a good enough excuse to use it, then I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you've got some cool little snippets of even little tidbits for maybe how to implement in your business, even if you use this already. So any questions, let me know below in a comment, and I'll see you on the next one, guys.